Let's put this on the map for you, show you where it's all happening, where the Syrian opposition activists say that these 3 strikes hit 3 locations on the outskirts of Damascus. First of all, you've got the camps of Kazan Mountain over here. That houses military brigades and arms depots. You've also got the Republican Guards brigades. They are at Wadi Barada, and there's also a military research centre at Jamraya. As of this point, no official comment from Israel. But Sunday night's attacks do come days after another reported Israeli airstrike on a shipment of these Iranian-made F-110 missiles. So you see, it is a big regional story here. We're going to go to London and talk to Fawaz Gerges about it, Director of the Middle East Centre at the London School of Economics. Good to have you with us, and please forgive me ahead of time if I interrupt you, because there's lots of things we want to talk about. The first thing, though, Israel. If nothing else, this shows us that Israel has red lines, like the United States has said, but Israel keeps to them. It doesn't want weapons moving, so it strikes.
Well, I mean, first of all, we do not know the type of targets basically attacked by Israel. We're talking really, we don't have hard evidence. The second point, this was not the first attack. It will not be the last attack. The internal conflict in Syria has mutated. It's no longer just an all-out war internally. This is an open-ended regional war by proxy. You have Israel on the one hand, you have Syria and Hezbollah and Iran on the other hand. It could take a spark to ignite a greater conflict, a greater fire in Syria. And this tells you a great deal about the marked and dangerous escalation of the Syrian conflict.
If it is Israel that's concerned here, and with previous strikes, can Syria retaliate, or is its arsenal decimated so much already, and also it knows the strength of the opposition it would go up against with Israel?
I doubt it very much whether the Assad government has the capacity and the means to retaliate against Israel, because this would provide Israel with the justification to basically destroy the remaining military capacity of Syria. Remember, the Assad regime is under tremendous stress in the last 2 years. It's trying to survive. And I also doubted if Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's 2 major regional allies, would retaliate directly, because this could provide the spark for a region-wide conflict. What you're going to expect, what you're going to see in the next few days and next few weeks is that Iran and Hezbollah would most likely deepen their engagement, involvement in Syria. They would become much more determined to prevent the removal of Assad, as Sayyid Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, made it very clear a few days ago. This is already turning into a region-wide conflict. It's no longer just an internal struggle inside Syria.
So they deepen their involvement. That's an interesting way you put it. Hezbollah, Iran deepen their involvement without getting directly involved, which means, as you've already pointed out, the conflict goes on, and you just have 2 sides effectively battling each other within Syria, representing a wider battle as well, and it just goes on and on.
Absolutely. What this tells you is that, as Mr. Nasrallah has made it very clear, neither Iran nor Hezbollah would allow the removal of the Assad regime. This is more than 2 years. This is a prolonged conflict. It's a war of attrition. It has capacity to escalate. Not only has the Syrian conflict spread to neighboring countries, Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, and Turkey, regional powers have become deeply involved in the Syrian conflict itself, and that's why there is no end in sight.
And is it in
no
any
one
of
knows
those,
how...
Sorry to interrupt you. Is it in any of those other players' interests for this to go on and on like this, into an open-ended conflict where all sides are supported but nothing really happens? Whose interest is it in that?
Well, first of all, what we need to understand is that wars by proxies go on forever, because, after all, the battlefields, the casualties, the Syrian people are paying the costs. Neither Iran nor Israel nor Turkey or any other powers are paying the cost. The reality is, if this conflict basically turns out to be as dangerous as we think, a region-wide conflict, one would expect the great powers, the United States and Russia, to really basically come together and try to find a political solution. So far, neither America nor Russia basically see eye to eye on what needs to be taken in Syria. But the reality is, the longer the conflict continues in Syria, the more dangerous it will become, not only to Syria, but Syria's neighbors and international security and peace as well.
Fawaz Gerges, a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.